Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody. Today is February 25th, and we are here. So I'd like to go to Charles for his greetings to his fellow brothers and sisters.
Bonjour, bonsoir, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world or at which time you will assist this video. Extremely happy to be here again with you to talk a few words about these questions of heaven or hell that we have received in our education, most of us in our countries, and that needs some clarifications to be well understood. So that's the purpose of today. Let's go. Welcome to everyone. Happy to be here.
Great. Nadja?
Labas vakaras visiems, laba diena. Šiandien turėsime dar vieną pokalbį apie dvasingumą, apie spiritizmą ir nušviesime gyvenimo klausimus. Mūsų tema šiandien bus pragara ir rojus. Pragaras ar rojus. Tikiuosi, kad bus jums naudinga. Hello, everybody. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So I'm very happy as well to return this week and talk about hell and heaven, hell or heaven. And but before I pass on to Elsa, I need to just make an observation, because in the last video we talked about the pineal gland, and I said that pineal gland was the hypophysis, but actually the pineal gland is epiphysis, and hypophysis is the pituitary gland. So they are endocrine gland, close to each other, but they are not the same. So endocrine glands, pineal gland is epiphysis, and pituitary gland is hypophysis. Okay, now Elsa, and I'm sorry, by the way.
Okay.
Elsa.
Thank you, Nadja. Now it is interesting that we are Nadja talking in Lithuanian and Charles in French, and probably I would like to talk in Esperanto, but it's not easy now in front of you. If someone is in Esperanto,
We can train that.
me havas granda plezuro por vir assistir comigo. And so we are now once again so happy to be together with you all, and ask your blessings that we are trying our best to explain, to talk about themes that are really intriguing in our mind for so many years. Since I was a Catholic, I was learning about the heaven and hell, and my mind was so confused, which is so afraid to go to hell, and doing our best to be a good girl. People said to me, "You are a good girl, you go to heaven." Oh God, I was delighted to listen to that. But now, with so many years, we are here again now talking about heaven or hell. Accordingly, the most important things that we have in our lives, that is this philosophy, the spiritist philosophy that is teaching us how really to deal and understand. So welcome everyone to our beautiful and nice meeting tonight. Thank you.
Okay, since everybody's taking their own language, I'll try my poor Irish. So failed there, everybody. So welcome. And I promise I will try to learn the correct pronunciation and a little bit more sentences like this. Okay. So today we will talk on one of the 5 books written by Allan Kardec. Just say this was dictated by the spirits and written by Allan Kardec. This book is talking about a series of philosophy, reason, science. Also in the part 2 of the book, we will have some, let's say, declarations or explanations from the spirits, what they found, how is their current situation, what they did. So it's a rich book. Everyone should read and take your own conclusions. You know, so we can easily find these on internet. This book on Amazon, also on your Basket can do have this in the. No, I don't think Buzz have this in the bookstore, but I hope you have a good reading and this is clarified something for you.
Yes, we are often and for many years taught to choose between right and wrong, black and white, faith and reason, superstition and blind faith, heaven and hell. So now the scientists, the post-materialist scientists, are proving that blind faith is dying because consciousness survives after death, the death of the body. So the body is just a material thing. As we mentioned in the first video, so we have a soul. So our spirit is a soul. The soul is our spirit incarnated in our body. So the body is just like an envelope for the spirit. And this is what Allan Kardec talks in the first part of the book, which is the philosophical analysis of how God, the good and merciful God, can be related to the destiny of the soul. No? And the second part is the interview, no? The selection of interviews, explain the experiences of the spirits. So this is the true antidote to the scientific materialism. So this materialist reductionist point of view, that we die and that's it, finished, no? There's nothing after that, cannot be sustained anymore. We have so many scientific studies now. We spoke about it in the last week video. So near-death experiences, death bed visitors coming to talk to the dying one, with Dr. Ian Stevenson, documenting 200 birthmarks and reincarnation correlations in scientific study. And just before we started our talk today, I found a very interesting systematic review from Dr. Jenny Straighthorn. She's a PhD, licensed professional counselor. In 2011, she did this systematic review for her dissertation for a degree of Doctor of Philosophy. And there, it was about after-death communications. So she could do a review of 35 research studies from all over the world, so mainly from the United States and the UK, but there was also from Japan, from Sweden, Norway. And in this study, she summarized saying that the after-death communications were very comforting, encouraging, and sometimes even life-saving. So people who were thinking of suicide, they could be comforted that there was life after death. So I think this, the heaven and hell, that dichotomy, the hell is the bad place and the heaven is a good place. So the spirits could tell their loved ones and that they are in a good place. They are in better than they were before. So this was very, I think, reassuring. So we see many studies on the internet that proving it.
Great. Yeah. Charles, my friend.
Yes, thank you, Nadja, for these statements. It's really enlightening. This culture of fear that has been imposed and entertained by the secular, by the religious movements, in order to instillate this fear into the people, in particular the fear of death. that we have been told and taught when I was young. Same, I have been educated Catholic and told that, okay, there is a last judgment and then there is a decision, either you go to heaven or you go to hell, and this forever. So this type of things that could never, ever enter in my mind, because it makes no sense. Why do they tell this? What is the reason beyond that? Is God not merciful to condemn someone for eternal hell just because of a decision at the moment of an ultimate judgment or whatsoever? I mean, it makes no sense. And Heaven and Hell was not the first book from Kardec I read. I read, of course, the other one, Spirit's book, Gospel, Medium's book, Genesis. But at the end, when I read this book, it made me so good, so well, because Kardec is really analyzing all these questions and as their traditional interpretation, what makes sense, what does not make sense, in such a simple and logical point of view. For me, it was really something like, hard drive which was wrongly formatted. You just reformat the whole stuff correctly in the right way. And this gives you then the strength, just, okay, now I understand really what heaven is. I understand really what hell is. It does not exist as such, and by far not as described. It's just a state of mind. You see, when you look a movie of pictures with war, and the people are saying, "Oh, it's hell here," no? And the other one in a nice place and so on. It's heaven, with a lot of people which are helping, solidarity, fraternity amongst themselves. They say it's a paradise here. You see, and this is exactly what it is about. It's not existing as absolute places. It's just the incarnation of evil, is what we call hell, and the incarnation of good, which is called heaven. And that's as simple as that. And this helped me a lot to how to say, to bring the things back in order in my head after this. Of course, I'm thanking a lot to have received this education when I was young. It was much better than no education at all. But at least on this point of view, it was very hard to believe. And now Kardec, in the first part of this book, put everything clear. And that's exactly, I mean, the first chapter is about fear of death, or fear which is entertained, and fear also about something that we don't know. And we all know that there is 100% probability that everyone, each of us, or later, better later than sooner, maybe, we will have to go to the other side and we will see what it is. So there is nothing more important to study about than what is happening exactly at that moment. And is it really heaven or hell, or that's the point of the day.
Thanks.
Exactly. Say, Stevan?
No, it's you. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
No, I was thinking about it. I don't know if you called me or not. So this short introduction by Nadja, Stevan, Charles, is to warm up our curiosity to discuss this theme today. That's the heaven or hell. So the book is Heaven and Hell. Okay. Our discussion, as pointed by Charles, give us a taste of this life. So our interest is to open a wider horizon and see what is really matters in our eternal lives. As I said before, I was one of the people that used to have to be afraid of death, of hell, because the way that I was listening and studying as a young before First Communion was really terrible. Because if I'm not good, I can go to hell or purgatory, or if I'll be good, you go to heaven. And nowadays, these young people, they question a lot. They question a lot. It's not everything that comes and you can adapt in your life. You really use your intelligence as Kardec made this book in two parts, the beautiful part. I like the second part because the second part is bringing to us information regarding Sanson. I don't know if Steve will show the video now or after.
No, it's not now. We need to better get more context. Yeah.
Okay, so Sanson, the second part of the Spirit's book, are talking about the kind of spirits, happy spirits, suffering spirits, etc. So Kardec was testing each one through a very nice mediums in the meetings there. Sanson was a member of the Parisian Spiritist Society, worked with Kardec for so many years, a good fellow, a good person, a really person that worked so hard to help others. And he stayed ill for 1 year. 1 year he was really in poor situation, Sanson. And he told to Kardec that when the end of his life, he wants Kardec to be immediately in his death, questioning his spirit. Okay. 1 year passed. When he was really knowing that he was about to die, that it was next day, he sent a letter to Kardec. Remember, my friend, what we had a discussion 1 year before? I want you to do your best to be with me as soon as my body is lie down without my spirit. You can start really questioning because I want to tell you everything regarding this research. So this happened. He died. 80 hours after his death, he started communicating through a medium beside his coffin, in a chamber beside his coffin. The body is there, lie down in the coffin, and communicating, answering the questions that Kardec was making notes, questioning him, and the questions, they are amazing questions. I took some here, not all of them. You can go to this book in the second part and read the entire dialogue between these spirits, Sanson, through a medium before the body buried, was talking through a medium to Kardec and answering all the questions to Kardec. And the questions that I find a question here, one of the questions is evocation. I am answering your call in order to fulfill my promise, said Sanson. My dear Mr. Sanson, we ourselves are fulfilling a duty and are pleased to be able to evoke you as soon as possible after your death, as was your desire. Sanson, it is a special blessing of God to allow my spirit to communicate. I thank you for your goodwill, but I am weak and trembling. Of course, 80 hours of his death of the body. You had suffered, Kardec, so much that I thought that we might ask you how you feel now. Do you still feel your pain? What sensations are you experiencing in comparing your present situation with that of you 2 days ago? My situation is quite happy, for I feel none of my former pain, no pain at all. I have recovered and I am renewed, as you used to say. My transition from earth's life to the spirit life might have made everything incomprehensible at first, because we sometimes remain many days without recovering our lucidity. But before dying, I prayed to God, asking him to allow me to speak to those whom I wish well, and he heard me. How long did it take for you to recover your mental lucidity? 8 hours. God, I repeat, has given me proof of his goodness. He deemed me more worthy than I actually am, and I could never thank him as I should. So the question, continuing, not so far, but I will stop here, and later on I will come back to this question because Stevan is conducting now.
You're muted.
I'm mute. Sorry. Yeah, no, it's good. I think we're gonna show the video now, and we can start a conversation. You know, what do you think, guys?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yes, it's a short video. I think only 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes, 2 minutes something. So it's very short.
And maybe you've already heard of them because those concepts or those places are all over the place in religious culture, obviously Christianity, but even other religious traditions. You get this idea of heaven and hell, but it's a pop culture thing now too. Everybody knows you've got an angel and a devil on your shoulder, and they're telling you to do good and bad things. And Swedenborg claims that there is a metaphysical reality behind this. He had these experiences, and he saw heaven and hell. And heaven is what you'd think it would be. It's all these beautiful places, people working together. There's harmony, there's intimacy, there's a sharing. But in hell, it's everything that's the opposite of that. Scary places, people being harmful towards each other, just not somewhere that you'd want to hang out. Creepy stuff. But what's the real difference between those two? I mean, if you took like a town that was in hell and pulled it into heaven, is it now in heaven? Is it a spatial difference? What's the fundamental distinction between heaven and hell? So let's look at them even more closely. So say we had a spiritual microscope. We were able to look at a particle of heaven and a particle of hell. What's the molecular, spiritual, chemical difference between these two? Swedenborg defines it as such. Heaven, a state of heaven, is for us is the union of what is good and true. And hell is a state of union of what is evil and false within us, right? It's a little philosophical, but here, let me give you a more clear explanation. He says heaven consists in doing good from goodwill, whereas hell consists in doing evil from ill will. And if that isn't clear enough, here's how it's put into action. He says that heaven is, at a molecular level, serving others for the sake of their own happiness, not for any selfish goal, but for love. And that hell is defined as when the pleasure in evil is felt as good, that is hell. And you notice we're not here talking about particular rock formations or cityscapes or something like that. Heaven is defined by motivations and actions, and so is hell. So this is something that can show up every day for us in how we feel and think.
Okay. Yeah. Based on this brief explanation about heaven and hell, Charles, as a French researcher, can you say why there are so many conflicts, ideas regarding heaven and hell? What's your thoughts about it?
Yes, thank you for this video. Swedenborg was really one of the, front runner for preparing these new ideas that came mostly in Europe after, in France, it was the French Revolution, but there was something equivalent in almost all the countries in Europe, waking up, claiming for more liberty and so on, and really get rid of this oppression, because this notion of eternal hell is something which is an oppression, something to put pressure on the people. You have to tell what I ask you to do, otherwise you will go to hell, isn't it? And this is totally exactly what the people got made revolution to get rid of, to really get rid of this heteronomical approach, and to win into autonomous approach, as it was perfectly illustrated in the video, to do good for free will, and without waiting anything in return, this is heaven. And to feel good by doing evil, this is hell. And it's described exactly what that Elsa also illustrated in the case of Samson. Clearly, it's a state of mind. If we have a good conscience or a bad conscience, good conscience will lead us, I would say, to heaven between brackets, and bad conscience will take us to what we call to what is called hell. But thanks God, hell is nothing eternus. It's just up to us to change our state of conscience, to hunt the bad thinking and to replace them by good thinking, according to our will, to our forces of our own soul, and we shift from one to the other. And Samson was a good example of a person who did all what he could to help the others. He participated also to the first step of the codification with Kardec, and he even suffered a 1 year agony when he was before he died. So he had a very good conscience, and at the end, you can see just a couple of hours after his death, as Elsa described, he was totally lucid and happy. He free of all the pain who brought him to death. So it's, as you can see, it's a total new way of seeing the things that Swedenborg anticipated very well, and that Kardec clarified even much stronger.
Wow. Yeah, and
When
we just say here, we do have so many people here giving some comments, like Media Brazil from the Netherlands. She's saying here, it's very interesting what the spirits talk about their experience on other side during the incarnation. Also, we have friends. Yeah. So also we have friends here from Poland, other friends here, Nadja from Lithuania saying hi. So
Hi.
that's a good. And my friends, if you have any questions, please write in the comment box, and we will do our best in order to reply or give you some explanation. Yeah. And
Stevan, I'd like, because Charles talked about Samson, the question number 5, the dialogue between Kardec, Samson to the medium, the number 5 question is very important, because he said like that, Kardec, are you sure, to Samson, that you no longer belong to our world? If so, how can you prove it? Asking the spirit. Oh, said Samson, I am absolutely no more of your world, but I will always be close to you in order to protect and uphold you as you proclaim the charity and self-denial that guided my life. In my next one, I will teach the true faith, the Spiritist faith that must uplift the benefits of the just and good. I feel strong and robust, transformed, in a word. You would no longer recognize me as the old invalid who had to avoid everything, to abandon every pleasure and happiness. I am a spirit. My homeland is the expanse of space, and my future is God who radiates throughout the immensity of it all. I would very much like to speak to my children in order to teach them that they always show it themselves ill disposed to believe. So he was a spiritist, believer, worker, preparing his next phase of his existence, of his life, as we should, because if I die tomorrow, I will be the same as I am today. Samson was a good person, a good freedom to teach others, to help others. Was aware about spiritual life. Immediate of his death of physical body, he was aware, totally recovered. And this book shows more spirits in different ways. The one that was totally materialist, did not good in his life, has a slaves, a people that was suffering in his hands, so ambitious person, and he died. Of course, he died after his passage to the other side. He saw spirits against him. He was in hell, and Samson was in heaven. We can say it's a state of mind, for sure. What do you think, people?
Nadja, you are very quiet today.
No, I'm just letting Elsa say this wonderful interview from Kardec, because that's the proof of life after death, and all those interviews with suicidal spirits. So people who committed suicide, they also talk in these interviews now, and I have to mention not only in the Heaven and Hell book, but in the Spirits magazine. There are many interviews from Kardec with spirits through mediums. For example, in February 1863, he had an interview with a suicidal spirit. So not only good things they tell, but the bad experiences as well. So this proving that depends on us, really. So if we do good, if we volunteer, not only do good for us while we are incarnated, because this good energy, this good vibration that we have while we are incarnated, we now at the moment will reflect after the physical body dies and our spirit lives on. So this is not just for the moment now, but it will take with us until eternity, because we are immortal, we are eternal spirits. And many people, there was in the other video as well that we were talking about a paper, reincarnation and psychology. There was the world values survey showing that a third of the world in the survey believed in life after death and reincarnation. So we have this innate presentiment, independently of our social status or intellectual levels or intelligence levels or degree of development. We all have this presentiment that the future of future life. And this is intuitive, that life is not the end. This happens also in Greece, in Plato, Socrates era, or with the Egyptians, with their gods and their immortality, and knowing that the kings will live forever. Dante Alighieri, he wrote the Divine Comedy, so he tried to describe how was hell, how the purgatory looked like, and how heaven was. So, and this is with us until now. So we depend on us to know what's going to happen after the physical body die.
Yeah.
And Charles, what do you think? Is heaven and hell a state of mind?
Absolutely.
That's a good question.
It's again there is no one judging us. We are judging us ourselves. It's just a question of state of conscience. There is no Peter who tells you go right and you go left and so on. Nothing like this. It only depends on us, our state, our mindset, and what we have done in our life. If we have at the end of our life good conscience or bad conscience. Elsa showed the good cases where Samson was somehow in something which is close to what as usually is described as heaven. And Nadja, you told about some other communications which are in this book of person who committed suicide, and they get after the suicide in a place which is more commonly described as hell. And Dante Alighieri was incredibly inspired when he wrote his book, because what he described as being the state in heaven or in hell is very close to what we can get from these descriptions that Kardec compiled in the second part of this book. The first part is about the theory, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And the second part is the demonstrations through real cases. The person who were attached to their money, selfish and accumulating things useless and so on, that when they come to the other side, they still are continuing attached to the material things, even though it doesn't belong to them anymore, and they have absolutely no influence on them anymore. And on the other side, you see some people which were poor, miserable, and even so patient, always trying to do their best and so on. All of a sudden, after the death, they feel relieved and happy. You have also the communication of a queen, la Reine d'Oud, Queen of Oud, which is Ethiopia or a country in Africa, somewhere, East Africa. And she's claiming in the spiritual world, why are the people not always behind me to help me when I call them to be here immediately and so on? And it's really described in a way that you see the real statements of the spirits telling us what happened with them after the death, depending on what they did before the death. Then, of course, you can think, okay, shall we still fear the death? If we have a good conscience, not at all. If we have a bad conscience, let's hurry to work to get a good conscience, and then it will be okay for us as well.
Yeah, it's important for us. Sorry, I interrupted. But it's important for us to make this revision in our mind. So what we are doing, but in any moment, I think, of our lives. So what are we doing? Is it bringing us joy, making us feel good? Because inside of us, we know what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. So that feeling of helping the other, or even just volunteering, like I said before. So this is a good feeling inside us. And when we do something not so good, or we say something sometimes not quite right, you have that feeling inside as well. So like, I don't think this is good, I don't think this is correct. So when we do this revision of our actions and of our life, sometimes, and what have I achieved, what have I done good for myself, for the others, not material things, because material things will stay here. When we die, everything stays here. But what will I take with me after, with my spirit? So this is very important.
Nadja, just a complement to illustration of what you just told. When you look the near-death experiences, when you listen to them, they all speak about this vision of what they have done good and bad in their life, isn't it? And it's exactly what happens when you come to the real death. You also have this retrospective view of all the good and bad things, and this is then simply how to say the result of your mindset, of your to have the good conscience or the bad conscience, which leads then to the how to say you encounter yourself in a place in affinity with your conscience.
Yeah, just in case we don't want a near-death experience, or we don't want to die. So you can now do this revision in your mind and then change it for, so you have reassurance that you go to a better place, not to the hell that is your life, and continuing that hell.
Well,
There are. I think there's some delay with my internet, so I don't see you starting, Stevan. Sorry, can carry on.
No, I was saying that we have seen so far is what we are used to, at least us here on the Eastern world. Um, we call these heteronym. No, so always we have to have someone high punishing us, making us very bad, or there is a hierarchy, someone knows better than others. So we need to change this mentality to an autonomous mentality in order to to call the responsibility to ourselves, because we are the responsible for ourselves. So while we are putting our decisions in someone else, we are not taking responsibility of these actions. But Elsa, my dear Elsa, just thinking here, I know this makes sense. What you are saying is kind of we're using here the rationality, but I know there are people asking to themselves, where are our loved ones?
Good question. I think most of the people remember when Chico Xavier was receiving letters from mothers. The mothers want to know where their children, okay, where the children were, the state of place where this heaven or hell, where the children. The children communicate, Mom, I am okay, I am with the grandpa, I am with grandma, etc. Give information from the spiritual worlds where their beloved ones are. So we know, as a spiritist, we have this state of mind, tranquility, that our beloved ones, we pray for them. We don't ask them to help us, because some friends, some relatives, they have less knowledge than me right now regarding spiritual world. People, my father was a very nice pharmacist, helping everyone, the fishermen, etc., the poor. So my father, I am sure my father is in good place, working there, because he's still working. We don't go to heaven doing nothing, or hell burning forever. We in hell burning forever. That is a state of mind. We also can receive help, because our beloved ones, they are there to help the ones that are in lower situation, lower zones, we can say. And we know people that murders, people that commit suicide or other kind of things. They need our prayers. They need someone be there with them. They have their inverted commas guardian angels with no wings, helping them, for them to wake up, to ask for help, because they do nothing. Only when you are aware and ask for help, you will receive your help. So our beloved ones, as part, for my part, I pray for them, for my father, for my grandparents, etc., for them to receive help, or they are helping others. They are okay, I am sure that. But the people that have fighting with each other here, or commit murder, and no one in this world saw or see it. But for God, justice is justice. Everything have a knowledge in spiritual world. I would like only to show people here, if you can see this page for the heaven and hell, is a spiritualist philosophy, heaven and hell, or divine justice according to Spiritism, a comparative examination of doctrines concerning the passage from corporeal life to spirit life, concerning future punishment and reward, concerning angels and demons, concerning sufferings, etc., followed by several examples regarding the true situation of the soul during and after death. We are missing our beloved ones. For sure we are. We pray for them. We continue communicating through our dreams, or the ones that have strong mediumship can communicate with them through messages that they are saying, okay, don't cry anymore. I'm okay. I am recovering. I still in some places. So this second part of the book show us how our beloved ones could be in the situation that these spirits, that scientific, more or less, can say a scientific way, they communicate and give messages to mediums, and this book is a fantastic one. I am imagining now the researchers, the scientists that research near-death experiences, making notes that there are a lot of cases, Dr. Ian Stevenson and others, Dr. In Brazil, Hernani Guimarães Andrade. Imagining these scientists doing the same now and making academic point can change the world. People that are materialists, they don't believe in afterlife, can change their minds, can change the world. So we are here, a small drop in the ocean, bring this information that is good for me, good for everyone here, and good for the humanity and the ones that are watching us, that they can research more.
Yeah, I was going to mention about the dreams because everybody likes to talk about dreams. And sometimes we do dream with our beloved ones who have already discarnated, who are not physically here. So most of the time, these dreams are very reassuring that they are in a good place, even if they don't, our loved ones, our mom, dad, or brothers, or any uncles, aunts. They may not talk to us, but we know that they are, feeling well. They are in a good place. But even when we have not so good dreams, or some dreams of strange people, or that brings fear, and we need to pray for the souls, because sometimes they want to communicate with us, but we don't know what's going on. We have the energy coming from them, and we have this fear. But then if you wake up, you just start praying for this good soul, for this for the soul that is not in a good place, to receive some love, to receive some light from God. So and it will, I'm sure you will feel much better, and the soul, the spirit will feel also much better, and will be received by good spirits, and will probably take to a better place. So it's important to pray for the loved ones, and as Elsa said, for those who are suffering as well, because God is merciful, and we can try to be to use the example of Jesus to forgive and to pray for the others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Prayer is energy, anyway.
Yeah.
Prayer is energy.
Yeah, we are all progressing. We won't be in hell forever, but we will all try to go to heaven. So we need to understand that our brothers and sisters who are suffering also need some help, and prayer is the best way we can help.
Yeah,
Sorry, Stevan. Yeah.
Now we have a comment here from Media saying, many of spirits during their dialogue show us their spiritual conscious state of mind they are having at the moment of the dialogue. According to their feelings in the dialogues, you can imagine they are on their state of mind in heaven or hell. What I would say here, because we have like 10 minutes, we need to understand. We suffered a lot of cultural background, like have the concept of heaven and hell coming from the Persian people. Then we have all these situations in which we have in the history and we end up like with the like Nadja said, the hell from Dante, and this is the close hell everybody have in their mind is something like a suffering. But Charles, knowing and reading heaven and hell, knowing these autonomous, moral autonomous, this will change our relationship with that.
Yeah, definitively. I mean, at least it changed mine. Huh? At least. But you know,
Might as well.
when you see the link of the cause and effect, showing what you are, what you do during your life, and what can happen then after the death, showing this by several, I didn't check how many of these communications there are in the book, but something like more than 50. Huh? You see all these different states, how some spirits are in hell, or what is described as hell, and how they are sometimes repentant, and how we can help them through prayer. Huh? For instance, someone who suicided, and there are several examples in the communications that Kardec made in several steps or different weeks, and making prayer in the interval, and then the spirit telling, "Oh, your prayer helped me so much, you cannot imagine," and so on. It gives you a clear way where to go. And Elsa told about the beloved one. Of course, we have beloved one which were good persons. That's no concern for us. They are helping us more than we are helping them. Huh? But sometimes we have beloved one which were not so good persons, or who died in difficult conditions. And then we have to help them. You see, you see this continuity, as in the sequence we have made this spiritual light short videos. We have a soul. Okay, where does it come from? Where does it go to? This is clearly we are in where do we go to, and how. Of course, maybe next time if we talk about reincarnation a little bit more, how we come back. And so this is explaining where we are coming from. And of course, once you see this, once you understood this, once you really manage to do in yourself according to your will, okay, guy, now you got it. So you don't need nobody to make you fearing heaven or the evil. Evil is the same thing. It does not exist as such. Evil are bad spirits in general, you see. And the angels also does not exist. These angels, we will all become angels in the future. There is no separate special creation of God. Huh?
Yeah. No, it's a great invention, angels.
Exactly. So when you are out of all this and you understand how these things are, then you tell, okay, guy, now I understood. So let's work. Let's do whatever I can to improve the situation today. And today is when I'm constructing, when I'm building my own conscience, and which that will determine what I will become today, and in particular at the day where we have to pass on to the other side. And so this is clearly this book, Heaven and Hell, is really, I would say, the strongest motivator for anyone to be okay, guy. Now, if you really understood this, then you get 10 times more strength to fight against the bad thoughts, against the bad habits, and so on, and to replace them little by little, but surely, by good habits and good things and good thoughts. And because you know where this will lead you to, and if you really aim to be happy one day, that's the way which leads directly to it. Very simple.
Thank you, Charles. So we are on our last 5 minutes. In order to wrap up here, I'd like to finalize my wrap up here with a sentence from from Kardec in the chapter 2 of the Heaven and Hell, and where it says, like, man, whatever the scale of his social position, has the innate feeling of the future, tells him the intuition that death is not the last phase of existence, and that those who lost we regret are not irreversible lost. In other words, we are immortal. We are eternal spirits. Anyone of you wants to give your final comments or wrap up message?
I only say that we are the queen and king of our own life. Our conscience will live forever. Our soul has our conscience. The body is like that in front of the eternity. So we have to be aware that you have many existences. Our life is eternal, as Stevan said. And we have many planets, many galaxies. We are not the only one planet that you have human beings incarnated and souls incarnated here. We can prepare ourselves to be a better soul and evolve, and help other planets even. We can do that. We can help ourselves here now, our foot grounded, in order to really see our soul as sons and daughters of God, the Creator, God, the Father, Mother, God, because this energy that He creates incessantly, and we are here now. We try to be happy, and we can be happy, making others happy, with responsibility, with love, and this beautiful book that it teaches us, open our mind, our eyes, in order to see really the real truth. So, thank you very much, everyone, for being with us. Thank you very much. See you next week.
Yes, I also would like just to say that it all depends on us. So we have the free will and we can decide if we want to be good or not so good. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time. Hope to see you next week. We are going to talk about the purgatory or umbral in Portuguese. So hope you enjoy it. Thank you and have a good night or have a good day, depending on where you are. Bye-bye.
Charles?
Yes, thank you all. I mean, the last message was very clear, the wrap-up, not a lot to add. Just we are autonomous, we are responsible. Let's decide ourselves, understand these things, and select ourselves the right path. It will give us a good conscience. It will make us happy already in this life, and also throughout the passage and what happens afterwards, and the future lives as well. It's just our selection. Let's place the values, valorize what is immortal, and not overestimate what is only temporary, because again, the day we will pass to the other side, all the material belongings, the car, the house, the bank account, and even the physical body, we leave everything here. We go there to the other side just with our conscience. And that is what we have to cultivate and to elaborate ourselves individually, each of us. Nothing can do that on our behalf. So it's up to us. Let's go.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. As Nadja said, our next program next Thursday, 9 p.m. London time. We will end up this series of near-death experience with the talk about purgatory. So if you like it, if you have any suggestion, please write in the comment box here, and we will see. And I hope you like it. We change our format of the show here and to become more interactive here. And we're doing everything we can in order to make this a better and useful conversation with you guys. So thank you very much. Thank you, Kardec Radio. Merci, Charles. Nadja, I don't know how to say thank you in
Acho. Acho.
Acho.
Labayacho.
Acho.
Acho.
Elsa, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks a
Have a
lot.
good evening. Bye. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
We hope you have enjoyed our program. Spread the word, Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.